Before we start, I am Perlin Palad, PS DevCom 2A, and I'm here to discuss to all of you the 7 traditions of communication theory. I hope everyone will listen as I discuss the theory of each tradition. Thank you. Robert Craig divides tradition and communication theory into 7 traditions, in which have a different classifications of learning that may help in analyzing and defining theory in a research and to help us understand it. We have cybernetics, sociocultural, sociopsychological, critical, semiotic, phenomenological, and rhetorical. So, let's start discussing these 7 traditions now. The first tradition is cybernetic. Cybernetic is communication as information processing. This tradition focuses in communication in the internet and concerned with concepts at the core of understanding like communication, learning, and adaptation. Cybernetic theories identify such phenomena as the purpose and identity with a large impact into society concerned. It also examines the workings of communication in relation to systems. For example, theory here is Organizational Learning 2 Theory, Method and Practice in 1996 by Chris Argyris and Donald A. So, in this paper, they take holism to mean the assumption that an entity can be best understood by considering its entirety. It also underlies the assumption in relationships, environment, indeterminism, casualities, self-organization, observation, and reflexivity. The number 2 is socio-cultural. Sociocultural is a communication, a symbolic process in reproduction in social order. This tradition is centered in creation of social reality. It also addressed the ways our undertakings, norms, rules, and meaning work interactively in communication and has an impact on individuals' understanding of the world. For example, sense of place theory in promoting environmental citizenship through local sociocultural traditions in science education. So in this paper, sociocultural tradition defines sense of place theory in which they highlighted in citizenship science education. Their viewpoint is that a contextual resource provides a framework of people's and environmental values and meaning to fulfill their requirements and ability to reflect their rational scientific arguments. The number 3 is socio-psychological tradition. It is a communication as interpersonal interaction, the cause and effect relationship, expression, behavioral approach, interaction, and influence. It also locates the meaning of communication within mind of each individual. Theorists believe that meaning arises from interaction. For example, theory here is socio-pathological phenomena theory in social psychological aspect of anorexia nervosa. The psychosocial consequences mentioned in this research are changes in mood and uncertainty. These broken bonds in families and deteriorating relationship with a closer environment, which can lead to social exclusion. The number 4 tradition is critical. Critical tradition is communication, is discursive reflection on the ways that discourses create and marginalize voices. This explains that understanding the ways one is oppressed one to take action. The dominant ideologies and power structures are the one that theorists aimed. It also focused on establishing ideologies and maintain power of groups as used to disadvantage of others. For example, theory, the contemporary social theory in critical traditions in law and society research. This paper explains the inquiry within law and society studies. The contemporary social theories suggest that inquiry requires a periodic re-examination of methodological and theoretical assumptions. These concepts and situations do not exist outside the very system of thoughts. The theories told that not only meaning and knowledge are products of social power, but this is a process that is not entirely knowable. The number five tradition is semiotic. Semiotic, it is a communication, a sharing meaning through symbol and signs. The presentation of transmission of meaning and the message construct by signs through interacting with a receiver to produce a meaning. The example theory here is a public administration theory in the philosophies behind public administration research by Patricia M. Shields. This paper attempts to explore three modern philosophical traditions and link it to the public administration theory, the role of ethics, logic, and treated differently in scientific method in a way that they define the essence of evidence and hypothesis. They use hypotheses and focuses on facts that can be empirically measured through sense content. The number six is phenomenological tradition. It is a communication as experience of self and other through dialogue. The standpoints and perceptions, the interaction in questioning semiotics and rhetoric. Phenomenological is the ultimate source of all meaning and value that experienced by human. For example, theory under phenomenological tradition is J. Ryan Fuller, Theory on How Social Media Affects the Self-Esteem. Fuller explained comparison of using media and applying it that can be advantageous and it motivates people to improve themselves. Upward social comparison often causes people to feel inadequate and develop harsh evaluations. Social media has become a suitable breeding ground for upward social comparison. And the last tradition is rhetorical. Rhetorical, these traditions is influenced to verbal and nonverbal communication. Rhetorical communication is an art of public speaking. This is how theory practice of rhetoric has been intertwined with the impacts of people's views about citizenship, and my example theory here is Augustine's theory of the Caesarian rhetorical tradition and medieval literary theory. This explains the scriptural interpretation, semiotic, and the spiritual disciplines of reading and mediation. Augustine also synthesizes the adjacent art of what would later be. It is non-verbal and verbal communication because Augustine revealed his subject matter as a theme of some Christian discourses or means of setting forth that which has been understood. And to summarize it up, these seven traditions have broad nature of communication and form to help organize the different viewpoints and concepts. So each tradition focuses on knowing each one that gave different conflicts and understanding the information we engage in our daily basis. Cybernetics is a system of parts that influence one another and control the character of the overall system. Sociocultural tradition is the reality of all parts when viewing people as a component and influence of the sum has on the individual. Socio-psychological focuses on the individual as a part, as a social entity, a part of network of people that's still independent in actions. Critical is very idealistic views and involving knowledge that is not enough but the action with very fundamental value. Semiotic is how they interpret meaning through symbols and signs to present ideas and concepts with own experiences and perceptions. Phenomenological focus more on the individual interpreter. It interprets message and experience by filtering the comprehension through own values and understanding. And the last tradition was rhetorical. It is the adjusting ideas to people and people to ideas through the use of language and symbols. That's all. Thank you.